Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Wow. Plot thickens. So, Holly's there at the door. And, Sasha's like, what are you doing here, mom, and stuff like that. And apparently, whatever last job that I don't know, she did with her or she was part of the con or anything like that, it involved David Vickers from Lambview. And, Mom Duke's pretty much just leaving her holding the bag. Now, she said that, she had to sit there and jet and just, unfortunately things happen. She had to sit there and rescue Ethan. But I'm like, oh, okay. I want to know more what that was about. So it turns out that, Holly said, yo, listen, I got to sit there and stop you from making a huge mistake with Cody. And the whole time I'm just like, why? Would you think that she's not good enough or anything? Like when she walks in, she's like, so you work here, you're a cook, you wash dishes and stuff, and maybe I'm sitting there thinking that Cody's gonna lead her down the wrong path. She was, a model, she worked at Deception and, she kinda left and maybe Holly's sitting there thinking like, you can't be sitting there doing this for a man or anything like that. So I was okay. Maybe that's it. Maybe she's just being judgy of Cody and stuff like that. She wants something better for her daughter. So I'm like, okay, all right. I see where this is going. No, no. That is not where it went. She's like, I need to stop you from making a huge mistake. And she's like, Cody is your cousin. And I'm like, ooh. And it turns out Sasha's father is Robert Scorpio. So at first, Sasha's like, she's in denial. She's sitting there thinking, okay, this is some kind of whatever. I don't know what you got going on. And so Holly explains the reason why she didn't, tell Mac or anything. I mean, she didn't tell Robert or anything like that. And it's flimsy at best. Well, to be fair, I don't know what kind of shenanigans that Robert was in back in the day. And she's like, I wanted to protect you. Robert had enemies. And, they can get to Robert through Sasha or whatever. And she didn't want that or whatever. It's flimsy. The reason why I sit there and say it's flimsy is because, like, okay, maybe back then it would have been understandable. But she had way more than enough time to sit there and tell Robert the truth. So obviously, yeah, this is definitely a retcon, but this is a piss poor retcon at best. So after she finds out the truth, she pretty much is like, I'm done. I'm done sitting there listening to this, and she leaves. And Tracy comes in there, and Tracy's like, all right, so what's going on? She goes to Cody, right? She goes to Cody, and Cody's like, hey, listen, I saw what you tried to do with Tracy and everything, and I appreciate it, but, he's about to sit there and be like, I don't need you doing that or whatever. She kisses him. She kisses. I want you to understand this. She just found out that she is possibly this man's cousin, and she kisses him. Now, while she's making out with her cousin at this point, he gets a little frisky and try to touch her dairy area. And she's like, "Whoa, it's too far." Pretty much, like she stops it. I'm kind of just like, that was that was the point of going too far. Yeah, yeah. And so she stops him. She's like, "Oh, by the way, I have a casserole on the stove, so yeah, I gotta run or whatever." And he's like, "Okay, well, after you're done, come back." And she goes outside, and she's like, just staring out into the abyss. And I'm wondering, what is she sitting there thinking? I'm not going to be able to sit there and have an appetite for another 20 minutes. So, and it's funny because during my live stream yesterday, as you know, my Michael Baldwin to my Victor Newman was like, this is a different time area. That they're not going to sit there and do anything like that. Like on God and Light with those two characters that I don't remember that they did that, and I'm kind of just like, there should never be a time in history where something like that is allowed. But my question is, do you think that they're going to sit there and do that? That they're going to sit there and actually, knowing what they know, they're going to get them into a relationship? I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think that they should do that, and I don't think I should have to explain why. The question for you is, do you think that they're going to go there? So, Alexis goes to Jordan and pretty much asks, do you think that we should get involved with trying to save Molly and TJ's relationship? Because, Rick is going to sit there and take this to trial and it's going to push them over the edge. Do you think we should sit there and try to do something to help them out? And Jordan's like, we can't get involved. Whatever's going to happen to them is going to happen to them. And all we can sit there and do is just be there for them if they need us. And that's very true, because at the end of the day, your parents can't and shouldn't be responsible for trying to save your relationship. That has to sit there and come from those two. And while that's going on, you got Ava and Rick out, at that restaurant that I can't remember what it's called. Christina walks in. I have to find better words to sit there and call Christina, because to call her an idiot every single time is just getting kind of old. They've definitely changed his character. They made her way more erratic, way more impulsive than she used to be. So she comes up to Ava and Rick, and she just starts going off. She's like, you're going to pay, and you're going to be behind bars, and this is all your fault. If it wasn't for you, I'll be at home with my daughter right now. And I was like, hey, you might want to kind of slow down on my daughter part. And Rick reminds her, you mean Molly's daughter, right? Because, the original agreement was you was going to sit there and hand that child off to Molly as you agreed, since it was your idea. Remember that? Yeah, yeah, just to kind of remind you. So they go back and forth. And Rick is like, yo, listen, this is your fault. You're the one that sat there and you came to that room. You came to the room. You picked the fight with her. This is your fault. Christina loses it. She starts yelling. She makes a scene. It was like, hey, listen, we need to chill out, man. You're causing a scene. She pretty much like, I don't give a, and starts raising her voice, knocks the glass out of Rick's hand, which I don't understand how that caused him to bleed and get a cut or whatever. But she just starts wilding out. Alexis, pretty much kind of gets her out the room, and it's like, if you want Ava to pay, then you need to sit there and stop giving her a good defense. And explains to her like, yo, listen, you wilding out, you causing a reaction in that place with all those people. You're just strengthening her case. And Christina's like, well, what do you want me to do? Well, you need to sit there and control yourself. But the problem is, they've been sitting there trying to tell this chick to control herself for a hot minute. And like it's in one ear and out the other with her. Turns out, when they was like, oh, okay, I see what you did. Rick set that whole thing up. Set that whole thing up. Knew that Christina was going to be there with Alexis and goaded her. And pretty much was like, yo, listen, I'm going to get her on the stand. I'm going to break her. Ava's like, well, why are you representing me? And this is something that I really wanted to know because whatever he said before was definitely didn't make sense. But long story short, he wants to punish her. If anybody's at fault, he's like, it's her. And he wants to sit there and punish her. And that's why he took the case. He knew, he was like, yeah, it's most likely like it was an accident. You know, Ava did it by accident. But it was Christina that went there in the first place. While that's going on, Molly and TJ, Molly's sitting there like she's going to tank the case. She's going to tank the case. And what is she doing at the restaurant? Proving her right. Um, but it seems like, you know, her and TJ are on the same page as far as what they're going to say on the stand. And, you know, they just got to sit there and cross their fingers and hope that Christina doesn't mess up the case more than she already did. Um, but Rick said it's not a silver bullet. It's definitely not going to sit there and do any favors in Christina's book, in Molly's book, and TJ's book as far as trying to get justice. Which is, yeah. So Dante and Sam tell the kids that, you know, she's imagined she's going to be the one to hopefully save Lulu. While the boys are happy, Rocco and Danny, um, Stout, which is such a stupid name, she's worried. You know, so they gotta sit there and explain to her that it's just a piece of her liver and that it's actually going to grow back. She's going to be in pain for a little bit, but, you know, she's going to be fine. And after they explain it to her, um, you know, Emma, I mean, I think that's her name, right? Emily. Emily's pretty much on board. Now, towards the end, they show this random scene of Lulu, or a faceless Lulu still in the hospital. I wonder what the hell that was about. It was a little kind of weird. Um, so Tracy comes to Cody and tells him about what Sasha did, and you know, asks him like, you know, listen, why do you need the money for? Are you in trouble, whatever? And you know, he talks about the horse ranch or whatever, or farm or whatever it is, estate, and tells her the reason why he wants to sit there and get it. But he's like, I don't want to sit there and ask you because you had a string of men that had sat there and tried to hit you up for money and conned you and stuff, and I didn't want to be one of them. So after they go through some of the lists and they talk about Luke, which was like the biggest one, um, Cody decides not to sit there and ask her. He's like, you know, listen, if I'm going to do this, I'll do this on my own. I'm not going to sit there and ask a friend to help me out. And that's the thing, though. When it comes to his friends and money, money is always a big issue. Money can sit there and literally divide a friendship, a relationship, any sort of relationship. Um, Money is always an issue. So I'm glad he did that because he does seem like he has a really good friendship with Tracy, and um, like I said, money can definitely mess that up. There's a couple of things just in my own life that I generally choose not to sit there and talk about with people because it's personal. It can always be very divisive. Religion, politics, and of course, money. So, yeah, but he didn't. He decided not to go that route. Then he got kissed by his most likely cousin. Let's be honest, it's her cousin. Yeah, yeah, that's wish I could sit there and forget about that, but nope. No, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else. But I got to sit there and say, just in general, in total, I've been enjoying General Hospital. General Hospital has actually been good for the most part. Like, I give them their props. Listen, you know me. When they're bad or they're boring and stuff like that, I will literally sit there and roast the hell out of them. So I gotta sit there and give them their props. They are killing it. Also, just a side note, if you are a YNR fan and you are a Phyllis or Michelle Stafford fan, um, JLJ Media did an interview with her. So check his channel out. It's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. There is one part I gotta sit there and say she keeps it real. Okay? That's all I'm gonna sit there and say. She keeps it real. So definitely check out that JLJ Media. Just type in Michelle Stafford, and it'll be his latest video. Definitely check it out. It's a good video. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. If I missed anything, write it in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.